Welcome to People in Common. I'm Jama Adams. This is a podcast where we talk to leaders about connecting their personal stories to what's happening in this moment. What are we supposed to do? How do we translate values into action? How can we be people in common? Colonel Pam Stevenson, welcome to People in Common.
Thank you. I am so happy to be here, not only because it's called People in Common, because it brings people together, that we get to listen to each other, that we get to say how this is going to go.
We're in charge, and we're here to open it to the people and be people in common. In fact, you and I are. Hasn't happened yet on the podcast. I'm so excited because you and I are truly people in common. We have people in common. The reason you are here and trusted me to come on this podcast is because we have the great Mickey Carroll in common.
Yeah.
And so I am dying to ask you, how do you know Mickey, and what, we both love her. She's a local Democratic activist here. And so I just love to start with that story, if you would.
Well, I lead seminars and I teach at the law school, and Mickey was in one of my seminars. And it's so funny because at the end of the seminar, she says, "You're in Kentucky. Could you come and talk to our people about what it's like to be a Democrat in a red state?" And I'm like, we grow horns, we eat rocks.
It's totally different. Everything's different.
But she's always been a fan, a supporter of my mission, which is to spread love, support people, make sure this world works for everybody. And when I say that, she agrees with it and she takes action.
I was just going to say, I think maybe my favorite part of Mickey is she, as I said, she's a leader of our Democratic Club. She every day is thinking about how do we make this world better, and how do I bring people together to take action on that front. And so it didn't surprise me that you two knew each other, but that is so it's not just the political side, it's the law. So this was a law seminar. What was the topic?
It was, let me think, which one was it? I don't know if it was the leadership or, I teach a lot of different ones. I'm just not sure. I think might have been the leadership one.
Okay.
Sorry, Mickey.
Yeah. We'll check it with her later. I mean, that's a good segue to introduce you. So I will not even try. Luckily, we have a bio here on the podcast webpage, because let me just start by saying you are a Renaissance woman. She just gave you a flavor of that because, so she teaches law seminars, sure. Some people do that. That's because she was a Judge Advocate General, JAG, in the military, in the Air Force for 27 years, retired as a colonel. Colonel Pam is also an ordained minister. She is also currently running for the U.S. Senate in Kentucky. Yeah. So we give her big props for being part of the solution, trying to get out there and do the thing. So, and then she's a million other things that I can't even go into all of them, but they include a quilter and a community builder and a femininomenon. Please do not miss the femininomenon TikTok video. We will definitely post that for sure. So without further ado, I would love to hand the bio over to you just to talk about, what is your story of yourself? Who are you?
Wow. Thank you. Well, as she says, I am Colonel Pam Stevenson. They call me Colonel Pam around Kentucky. And I was born and raised in Louisville, Kentucky. Mm-hmm. And my mom and my dad, we were poor, but we didn't know it. Mm. Because they took such good care of us. Our house was the house where everybody met. My mom has 15 brothers and sisters. So they would bring their kids over. The adults would go in the basement. The kids had to stay upstairs. We had no permission to come in the basement. And so we grew up with family.
Okay.
And my grandmother always used to tell me, if you have one slice of bread, and this is the grandmother that had 15 kids, if you have one slice of bread, you share it,
Mm.
no matter what. And so we grew up in a family like that. And my mom and dad worked really hard to make sure that we had what they need, but also they took care of the community.
Mm.
There were kids in the community that couldn't eat, didn't have stuff. They were union people,
Mm.
and they did the work to make things better for us.
Mm. Yeah.
So that's my background. And I, my uncles were in the military, and I went into the Air Force. I went in and I served as a commander,
Mm.
and then I switched over to JAG. I was a Judge Advocate General, and I visited, worked in 11 countries. I went around the world representing the promise of America.
Oh,
And
yes. We're going to talk about that.
oftentimes, oftentimes, when I retired from the Air Force, they always do a retirement ceremony. And I had three general officers that were retiring, and they tell the story of your career.
Mm.
And the general officer said, we would get in the room and decide who to send, and they would say, send Mikey. I said, y'all call me Mikey? I'm like, because I could go in no matter what the country, the culture, the language, connect with people, and make sure that America had what it needed.
Mm.
So I loved living for something bigger than self.
Mm.
I loved
Mm.
my service in the Air Force.
Mm.
And I decided that when I retired, I wanted to go back to Kentucky and do for Kentucky what I'd done for America.
Oh, okay. Okay. It had what it needed, is what I heard there.
Mhm.
That Kentucky
And,
has what it needs. Okay. Go ahead.
and that we go from the bottom of so many lists to at least the
Um,
middle. Like,
we don't have to be on
so,
top, but we cannot be the bottom. Come on, Kentucky.
right, right.
Yes. Yeah.
Because all across this country, I've been to a lot of places, and
Yeah.
I always tell people in Kentucky, Kentucky's going to lead the way in how we treat people and families and how we allow people
Mm.
to live.
Mm.
We're going to show the other states how to do this,
Yeah.
and because we can, we've got the people, we've got
Mm.
everything we need, except the will to move forward as one.
Mm. That's exactly it. So, right. So you have this background and example that, like, you grew up in a house. I love the image of, we were the house where everybody came. That's my dream. I want to be that house. So I have this image of you having the foundation growing up about what that meant, right? If somebody
Yeah.
needed something, they came to you, right? Everybody got what they needed
Yes.
at your house. And
Yes.
you then did that in your military career, and now you're doing
Yes.
it as a state legislature inside of
Yes.
Kentucky, and now you're going to the US Senate to do it for Kentucky and for America. How
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you said it so well. I am the floor leader in Kentucky,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a whole group of people to take care of, a whole group of constituents to take care of, and I have Kentucky to take care of. I am not just the floor leader for the Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
I am the floor leader for every Kentuckian that wants a better life.
Mm.
That's it.
Mm. Yeah.
So, and I take it very seriously. And now we've got in the military every year we had to take a oath to the Constitution when we re-enlisted or got another rank to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And we had plenty of practice to defend this country against foreign enemies.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't ever remember one practice for domestic enemies.
Yeah.
And there are people that died, young people, for the promise of America. And we didn't talk Democrats and we didn't talk Republicans. We talked, do you have my back while I'm in this foxhole?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. 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 Everything else falls away. It is, how do we have that? How can we have that kind of, I've got your back because let's be honest, our cities, our states, our country is in a foxhole. We're in a really tough moment. I think everyone can agree. Wherever you fall on the spectrum of how we got there, we can all agree we're in a really tough moment. That image of, do you have my back when we're in this? How do we transition from where we are to that orientation? that we have each other's back? I mean, you've done
Well,
it, but how do we expand it to, right? Like what are the approaches?
well, here's the thing. It's going to take all of us,
Mm.
not just elected officials, not just the people you like. It's going to take every person to say, I'm the one that you can count on, and my circle of influence can count on me for this.
Mm.
So we've got to be willing to look at what we want our life to be for.
Mm.
If you say what's important to me is that children are fed, then what are you doing about it?
Mm-hmm.
If you say that what's important to you is that people don't sleep with snow as a blanket,
Mm.
then what are you doing about it? Our system of government works. This great experiment called America works when people engage.
Mm.
And when we don't engage, we get what we've got.
And I think the instinct is to right. You know, when we talk about the minute you talk about anything political, let alone just any or leadership, and I feel this in my just personal conversations. People immediately disengage. Oh, I don't want to talk about that. Can we just ignore that?
Mhm.
Can we like? And I think, and to give people credit, I do think some people are then engaging in their local communities, right? I think,
Mhm.
but I think what you're saying that's not happening, at least in my little world, is the stepping up and into leadership. I'm the one you can count on.
Right. And if the only thing you can do is step up in your life,
Mm,
that's something.
that's not that's not nothing.
I mean, that is it. That is all. And
Mm.
pretty soon, all the little humans will connect because we're all standing for something.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And right now, and it's designed. The what's happening now is designed to keep our heads buried, keep us fearful. It's human
Mm.
nature
Hmm.
to want certainty. How many people have fought because their spouse slept on the wrong side of the bed? We want the same side of the bed. And And we just don't do well in uncertainty when things are not for sure. And every
Yeah.
day when you wake up, there's something different. It's the same. It's different. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. No, you're going away. No, they're in this country. We all get
Mm.
concerned and say, I'm just going to bury my head and be quiet
That's
because
right.
at least they're not on me.
That's right, exactly. And maybe they'll ignore me, and it won't. The spotlight won't come my way. But as yeah, you actually please check out another TikTok video that we will post about how you describe that. Actually, the spotlight will come for you, so please don't pretend that there's that's gonna
Right.
work. That's not a good strategy.
Well, and if you think about it, it's a model of hate.
Yeah.
That you keep somebody on the bottom and point everybody to that group to hate and warn them that if it's not them, it could be you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we keep that circle going.
Yeah. Yeah. The people at the bottom sometimes change, right? Like you can
Oh,
there
yeah,
have
it
been
changes all the
different
time.
groups. There have been different
Right.
groups stuck in there,
First it
but
was this one, then it was.
that's right.
So it
That's right.
changes.
Right.
But what doesn't change is the direction to hate.
Yeah. Yeah. This I want to go back to the engage, disengage, stand up, you know, and the certainty. I think you're so right. We're just humans. We're just humans trying to
Mhm.
get along, right? Okay, we're not going to have the certainty. I think that's what's so unmooring for people, just as you point out, right?
Mhm.
We can't even handle a different side of the bed, let alone the level of chaos that is bombarding us from every turn right now.
Mhm.
Okay, we're not going to have the certainty. I guess talk about either in your own life or, you know, I bet as a candidate, you're privileged to see this all the time. Talk about examples of people who you do feel are standing up and rejecting the sort of vicious cycle of hate and othering and sort of blaming and right? How, like, what does that look like? What are the practical examples that people can sort of get inspired by?
Well, I think that. I want to be clear. I think there are a lot of organizations and a lot of people that are doing good work.
Yeah, that's right. Let's not
They're
lose
just
that.
not doing it together.
Yeah, got it.
And the
That's right.
time that we are in is going to require a together.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody gets to do a little thing so that it's all covered.
Mm. You don't have to save
So,
everything or be the hero, right? Everybody does their
right,
part.
everybody does their part.
Yeah.
And we have to be willing to have the conversations about what's needed and stick our head out a little bit.
Mm.
That's number one. Number two, we have to, I believe when I was 10 years old, I was listening to the adults talk about the world's in a
Wait,
bad
did you
place.
sneak up or sneak down to the basement? Is that what I just heard?
Well, see, that's why you can't tell people your business because
I'm
now
going to
my
tell
mama's
your
going to get
mom.
me.
I know. I am definitely going to tell your mom. Sorry, go on.
Oh, but they were talking about all the problems in the world.
Mm.
And I said, well, the Bible says the answer is love. We just need to love each other. So why
Which
can't we just do
sounds
that?
right. Yes. You're not
And
wrong. Yeah.
and they looked at me and said, go upstairs.
They're like, babe, it turns out a little more complicated than that. Yeah. Okay.
So, but it's a place to start.
Mm-hmm.
It is not one of my favorite songs is Stevie Wonder's Love's in Need of Love Today.
Oh.
Send yours in right away. It doesn't say let somebody else do it. It says love is in need of love. We got to love on love.
Yeah.
And send yours in. Don't worry about nobody else's love.
No.
Where's yours?
That's right. That is actually a very important point because right now it does seem like we get a really caught up worrying about what everybody else is doing. When your point is just do your part. Just do your
Yeah,
thing. Just do what you were
yeah,
put on this earth to do. You don't have to. In fact,
that's it.
sometimes it's better not to know or pay close attention to what other people are doing. Okay.
Yeah, and then the second thing, so we have to find joy in every day. Every day,
Mm.
like we're not promised a trouble-free life. If you don't have any trouble, that means you're dead. So every day, find some joy, something that makes you smile,
Mm.
something that says, "This is why I'm here." It could be 5 minutes, it could be 10 minutes, but
Mm.
the thing to do is to be on the hunt for it.
Mm.
Because if you don't hunt for it, it's not coming.
Mm.
The second thing is we've got to come up with our own narrative.
Mm.
Like, what is it that we want this world to be like?
Mm.
What is it that instead of responding to other people's narrative and saying, no, that's not right, no, that's mean, no, that's hateful, it might be all of that. But we've got to live into something bigger than what they say, waiting for them to say something so we can respond. No. Somebody asked me, did I want to study Project 2025? I said, no. They said, why not? I said, I want to study Project 2026. They said, what is that? I said, it's the Democratic response.
It's my narrative.
Oh,
It's my
right.
narrative.
So we do it on small ways. I think we look at everything globally and we get so overwhelmed. But
Mm-mm.
what can I do today with my life? Can I help one person? Can I read a book to a kid? Can I volunteer for a campaign?
Mm.
Can I call 10 people and encourage them?
Mm.
Can I, what is my life for and am I fulfilling that?
Mm.
That's where it starts. So those are the two things I would say. There are people doing great things, organizations doing great things. We got to figure out how to do them together
Yeah.
and move in the same direction.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think one one really encouraging thing is that we are hard moments force us to find people who hold common values, right? And to do that
Yes.
second thing of creating our own narrative. I think an example in my life recently has been every Thursday, there's a group that protests on a little street corner, literally next to the playground. So my kids are so happy. They're like, great, you can do your thing, mama, on the corner. We'll be in the playground. And sometimes they come over and wave. Somebody took it upon themselves to make an awesome playlist and a huge boombox. Okay. It's not called that anymore, but a speaker. And we are dancing and singing and people are honking and it is, and it is. And we have our own signs and we're having our own narrative. And my point, again, we're all there for different reasons, which that's beautiful. That's America, right? We don't have to agree on every single thing, but we do agree that it's important to stand up and say, whoa, 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 this is not right. And so our narrative is we're joining together to stand up and say, here's what we do want. And we're going to have our kids. My 92-year-old friend is there. My, the cousins, the families, the city council members, right? We're just on our little street corner making our little difference. And we're creating our own narrative. And that's sort of, we talked about the story of self. I think of it in a 3-part framework. The story of self, the story of us, just to say the narrative, and the story of now. Why now? What is that urgency and what is how are we going to, let's go. And you just gave some great examples of other ways that people are getting involved and stepping up. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, and I know it's old, and I love your example because everybody can do something.
Mm-hmm.
Like what we can't afford to do is bury our heads and hope that it passes. I was at a restaurant having breakfast, and the waitress, when she's taking my order, I said, "Are you registered to vote?" She says, "I don't do politics."
Ooh, I've
I
heard
said,
that.
"Oh." I said, I said, "So you
Wrong
want
person to
other
say that too.
people telling you what to do with your body?" She said, "Nobody can tell me what to do with my body. Nobody." She got real indignant. I
Ooh.
said, "Do you realize that you can no longer have an abortion in Kentucky if you wanted one, whether you believe it in or not?" She said, "That's not true." I'm like, "Why you frying my eggs? Go look it up."
I'll
And
wait.
she
I'll
came,
wait.
yeah. And she came back and she says, "Oh my word, when did that happen? Where was I at?"
Oh.
I said, "I don't know." She said, "Will you come back next week? I'll be registered."
Oh.
I said, I won't be back next week. I'll be out of town, but you go ahead and register and tell me when I get back."
There.
So two things happened in that exchange. One was we live like we're going to live forever when we're young.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just the way God built it. And then secondly, we've got to meet people where they're at.
Mm.
You can't take someone that we talk about the people that don't vote. Like, for example, in Jefferson County in May of 2024, the voting was 16% in the primaries.
1-6.
1-6.
Wow.
So you can't take the people that are not voting and say, "Hey, I need you to march. I need you to protest. I need for you to call 50 people. I need you to donate $1,000." You've got to meet them where they're at because
For
they got there a
sure.
particular way. And until we understand that, we can't release them.
Mm.
So we do a lot of talking to people and more listening than anything
Mm. Really smart.
about what they want for their life. And I'll give you, and I got that when I worked with the State Department and the 9/11 Commission. But I worked for the State Department. They took us to Africa. We went to Mali
Mm.
to teach the rule of law. And when I walked in, it was mostly men and older. And they started talking and they said, "We don't take instruction from a woman." So I said, "Okay, let's get started." So they we had overhead projectors and they had it in French and English. So I started reading French. Now I don't speak French.
I was gonna
But
say, wow, I bet they're impressed with your French. No.
oh no, they were not. So the president stood up and said, it was a rippling all across the room and they were laughing. And then the president said, "Madam Stevenson, we request you go back to English." I said I could do that.
Sure.
And for the rest of the time, I could do no wrong. They
Oh.
listened, they engaged, and at the end of the session, this older gentleman in his 60s came up to me, spoke no English. He brought the translator, and he said he wanted to take a picture with me. I said, okay, as long as we're not getting married.
You're like, just want to check the local custom here. Cool.
Exactly. And he says through the translator, no, I have a 12-year-old daughter, and I want her to know that anything is possible for herself in her life.
Oh, I just got goosebumps.
Hmm.
Wow. Was he the
So
same
I,
person who said, I don't take instructions from a woman?
no, no, he was in the
Okay.
audience, but he
Okay.
was the older
Okay.
gentleman that had lived under that regime.
Wow.
And so I sent her one of my ranks. I had
Oh,
so she could
wow.
have it as a
Yeah.
memento.
Yeah.
And she sent me the nicest letter back the next day.
Oh,
That's how we get things done. And that's how I know that all people want is for their children to do better.
yeah. Yeah. That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Even when you haven't been used to and you're kind of thrown off by something. Tell me, okay, go a couple clicks deeper on that story. What was it? Okay, you broke the ice. Like from what you just said, I'm
Mhm.
hearing that you didn't just go back into the corner and like, oh, sorry, didn't mean to. You broke you were you didn't listen to their requirements to sit down and be quiet, but you did something that broke the ice and kind of made it um
Mhm.
it, everything was
Ma-
off the usual, and so all of a sudden you as a woman speaking felt less unusual because you had already broke anyway. Tell me, like, what
Right.
worked
It
in that
gave
moment?
them permission to be them.
Oh.
It's like, I'm not here. Like when you live for something bigger than self, I couldn't run back to the commander and say they don't like women. I can't do it. I had to do the work for the promise of America. And we needed the rule of law to be prevalent across this globe.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, okay, what can I do? And I know people like laughing, and I don't mind if you laugh at me, but we speak in French today.
It was so funny because when you said, so of course I started in French and I was like, oh, très bon. I don't, like, how did you? And you're like, no, 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 no. I don't actually speak French. That's so awesome.
Well, and they never called me by my rank, but that's not I'm not no, I'm not stuck on that. They
I
call
did
me
notice
Madam
that in your, yeah,
Stevenson.
I did notice that in your story. It was that,
Yeah.
okay.
So do I go to war to force you to call me a rank?
Yeah.
Or do I go to war to have you join the team of the rule of law?
Right. Mission over everything
Right,
else. Right.
right. So we did
Huh.
it, and it's so funny when I got back. We did that periodically. They sent a message to the State Department and said, "Can Madam Stevenson come back?"
They're like, who? Mikey?
Mikey. So
We have to come back to that, but we'll come back to
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I mean, right? Who wouldn't want you back? I'm so glad you went there because that was that one of the things that really stood out when I was kind of looking more deeply into your life. You have served in 11 countries, training foreign military on the rule of law, and as you say, the promise of America. It, I'm again, my mind went exactly there from what we were just talking about 16% of people voting here in the United States in a primary and people not knowing what. I mean, let's be honest, most people don't know what's going on, right? We're busy, there's a lot happening. Okay, and so as you say, meet them where they are. 11 different countries. Okay, now that I would say our democracy is, I don't know if we use the word crisis, but whatever, our democracy is not in a great place, I think.
Mhm.
How does all of those experiences across 11 different countries, as you say, dropping yourself into all different contexts of culture and military rank, and what are the lessons for us in this moment from all of that
That
experience?
there's more than one way to do everything. There is more. I'm like
Huh.
the way the Germans recycle is amazing.
Huh. Okay. Yeah.
You know, the different party systems, the way when I was in England, the way their court system is, it's different than our court system.
Mm-hmm.
There's more than one way to solve an issue.
Mm.
So you just have to open up and be available to listen for the best solution.
Mm.
Now, and sometimes sometimes it's like, and I say that you gotta listen. I did more listening, and you've got to treat people with a lot of respect. We were in Croatia. Yeah, it was Croatia, and we were negotiating some contracts. I wasn't the lead negotiator. I was the lawyer telling them what to put in there and all that. And I noticed that the lead negotiator was being rude to the grown men on the other side of the table
Mm.
and speaking very loudly, like because they didn't speak English, that something was wrong with them.
It's always better if you just shout, right? Like everything gets
Right,
better if you
right.
just shout louder. Yeah.
So I called a break. And I said, look, we're in their country. We need to treat them like the men they are. And he looked at me and said, I don't take instructions from you.
Seems to be a
And
theme.
no.
Mm.
And we went back in there and we completed the negotiations. And he did it his way. And then 3 months later, 2 or 3 months later, my boss told me, he says, look, you've been working hard. You can sleep in Sunday morning. Sleep in was 7 o'clock.
Ooh, luxurious. Yeah.
At 6 o'clock, the operations officer knocked on my tent and said, the boss said you need to get to headquarters right now. I said, as soon as I put on my lipstick,
Obviously. Step by step.
he said you were going to say that. He said he needs you right now.
He actually anticipated that and he says, nope, no lipstick. Please. No.
Right, come now. And so
Wow.
I get over to headquarters and everybody's in a tizzy. And I think, oh my gosh, we're being attacked.
Yeah.
And he runs towards me. He says, they're holding the planes hostage. They will not let them go. And the only person they're going to talk to is you.
Whoa.
I said, you who? And he's pushing me towards the phone. And he said, talk.
Wow.
I'm like, okay. And the only thing I could think to say was, what can I do to serve you?
Wow.
And the gentleman on the other side said, Madam Stevenson, we are so sorry, but we cannot let those planes go. I'm like, okay, tell me why. And so we had the conversation. I could hear where the holes were and what had not happened.
Uh,
And I said, I give you my word and the word of America that that will be done. And he said, okay. And I get off the phone and my commander said, did you do it? I said, yes, I did, sir. He says, what did you do? I promised him you're going to do your job. Get him these three things and I'm going to track it down. And he says, are you sure it's done? I said, yes, sir. He gets on the phone to the admiral that's in Italy and says, sir, I got it done. I'm like, could you at least wait until you walked away before you said that? and then within
You're like, come on. Come on.
and then within 30 minutes, the planes were taking off.
Wow.
And the things that they had requested, I followed through all the way from the Pentagon all the way over there to
Right.
make sure that it happened because I'd
Right.
given my word.
Right. Right.
People believed in America. They believed if
Mm.
America said it, it was true.
Yeah.
Americans believe if America said it,
Yeah.
it's true.
Yeah.
If you think about it, every day across this country, in every state, people go to churches, schools, political places. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for two. Exactly.
Ah, my whole brain. Today was the first day of school. I dropped off my kiddos and we said the Pledge of Allegiance. And I was standing next to somebody who kept quiet and then whispered to me afterwards, I can't, I can't say the Pledge of Allegiance. And I was like, well, you know what? This is America, and that is your right.
That's right.
Anyway, I love the Pledge of Allegiance. Wow.
Well, and people, we trained ourselves that if we're going to be America, that's what we stand for.
Yeah,
That's the living for something bigger than self. And
that's
so
right.
when I say for two, people are like, no, that's not what it says. It says for
For
all.
all, right?
All. Okay, then we need to act like it.
That's
What are you
right. That
doing
means
to make sure it applies to all? Right.
all, not pretending all, right?
Not the ones you like, not the ones that do what you say. All.
All, all, just like how you are the floor leader for all Kentuckians. I think that is a lost art among leaders of all kinds. It's easy to lose track of, right? Because some of the all are louder than others. Some of them are more powerful. Some of them are right. And sometimes you're
Yep.
just blinded by who's in front of you. But I also want to go back to how you started that conversation. How can I serve you?
Mm-hmm.
I have to believe that comes from your long history of service and the example of Jesus Christ. Tell
Yes.
me,
It
yeah,
does.
where did that inspiration come from on that morning when you were barely awake?
With no lipstick.
I did. That's right.
I just believe in people, and I don't believe a 2-year-old says, when I grow up, I want to be a crook.
Correct.
I don't believe adults say, let me wake up and make trouble for America, particularly when we were as powerful as we were back then. So I need to be able to listen, follow the examples that I'm given by my faith, follow the examples that I'm giving from the results I've gotten from listening, and ask, what can I do to serve? It sets the tone. Not, you better let those planes go. So if we look at all the things we say we are as America, bring me your tired, your poor, your hungry, so they may breathe freedom. That love thy neighbor as thyself. Take care of the least of these. All the things that are embedded in this country. When we act inconsistent with those things, we get a mess. We need to either change those things and say this is who we really are, but a house divided against itself can't stand. So service is what my grandmother always taught us. And my mom and dad, oh my gosh, they're 84,
Mm.
still serving people. I'm like, yeah, can y'all sit down for a minute?
Just a minute. Just you know.
And the other part of that is this. Look, back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, when people of color, black people had no rights, we were under Jim Crow. We had people that got up every day to stand for a better America for people they would never meet.
Yeah.
They got up every day and they said, I'm going to fight the best I can with what I got, where I'm at, so that maybe my great grandkids can have a job, have a car, have a house. Maybe they can go downtown. Maybe they can go places I can't go. Maybe, just maybe, if I do what I can where I'm at, they can do more. They led from where they were. So I think it's incumbent upon all of us to decide for ourselves, what is that thing that's put in me so that I can do that? Stop waiting to lose 10 pounds. Stop waiting for the children to be out of the house. Stop waiting for the right spouse. What is in you that the world needs?
Mm. Mm-hmm. And go do it.
Yeah,
And go
do
do it.
it.
And go do it.
It's easy to come up with 10 reasons why you can't. It's hard. Every day, Dr. King got up and black folk was saying, Martin, you're doing too much. White folks was saying, Martin, you're doing
Go
too much.
slower. Why don't you take it?
Yeah.
Like this is too
Wait till it's your
fast. Wait
turn.
your turn. Wait your turn. Yeah.
Yeah. And every day he got up anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when he was in the Birmingham jail,
Oh. Yes.
And he was the one on a cot, uncomfortable, no food. And the people were at home eating their dinners. He wrote them a letter of encouragement. So we get to be who we say we're going to be.
Yeah. And I think, can I ask you? So I think, especially when we think of, the Rosa Parks, the John Lewis, the Martin Luther Kings of the world,
Mandela,
Mandela,
Mahatma Gandhi, who
ex-
said, England, get out of my country.
that's right. That's right. And led this great salt march, right? It, the question is, sort of, and what I feel and what I hear from people is talk more about they were leading from where they were and from what they had. I think it's so easy to lionize these great humans, right? These men and women who, as you say, they were ready to die for the right to vote, for the promise, the maybe, the I don't know, but it might work out someday for my great grandchildren. That it's almost it's inspiring. It's almost intimidating, I guess, right? And so I love how you took it to. So don't wait to lose the 10 pounds. Don't wait till you're an expert. Don't wait till how do we come out of the intimidation and the sort of hero worship and the great man theory kind of, right? That's really easy to get caught up in all that and just go, just do the thing. I love the way you talk about how it's what is inside of you, I think you said, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let me give you an example. There was um, leader, a leader, Lucy. Lucy was born in the early 1800s. And Lucy dropped out of the sixth grade, got married at age 14, had 15 kids. And when Lucy had a grandchild, she decided that she was going to save 10 cents a month, to pay for an insurance policy so her grandkid could go to college. She did extra stuff to earn that 10 cents a month. And then she died unexpectedly. And then when I turned 18, the insurance company gave me the policy because Lucy was my grandmother. She dreamed a whole world for me that she knew she couldn't be for herself. She couldn't go downtown. She couldn't file a police report. She could do none of those things. But she did what she could do to make sure I could. Whose Lucy are you?
Oh,
Who are you standing for? And that's where we've got to start. You don't have to do everything. Just do one thing. One thing that gives you joy. One thing that fills your soul. One thing that's of use to another human. One thing.
yeah.
In fact, we're starting the power of one. It is a movement to meet people where they are so they can get engaged. Donate $1. $1. You either have $1 or you can get $1, but donate $1 so that you can engage, so you can stand up for yourself, so that you can say, not on my watch. Meet people where they're at. If $1 is what you got, still engage. And then we will build from that. You can't ask anybody that has a mindset of, I don't have any money to give $1,000, but $1.
Mm-hmm.
And together, the $1 gives us the power to have this government be for the people, by the people, to serve the people. That's the premise of it. We the people is the way our Constitution starts. So we're doing the power of one, and to empower people to stand up for themselves, to engage. It's unrealistic to think that the people that are not voting today will all of a sudden wake up in May of 2026 and vote. We've got to go where they are, listen, and give them an opportunity to engage. Now, will all of them? No, I don't need all. It's like the bell curve. I don't need the ends of the bell. I need the middle of the bell.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you follow human nature, people just want to be a part of something big, something that makes a difference,
That
something that
matters.
allows them to live their life.
Yeah. That allows them to be someone's Lucy. Oh,
Yeah.
you got me on that one. And it's not lost on me that Lucy is the name of the very first human, right? Way before the 1800s, the first humanoid, once we actually evolved into humans. Lucy was the name of that human. And Lucy
I'm
was
going
the
to look that
name,
up.
yeah, Lucy is
Yeah.
the name of your grandmother. I love how you told that story. Oh, yeah, I'm just gonna get a Kleenex, no problem. But whose
Well,
Lucy are
when
you?
my grandmother would take care of me, it's funny because we would walk down the street when I was 3 or 4, and she would say, "Baby, put your head down. You cannot look at white people in the face." And I would say, "What's white people?" Because I didn't know. But that she had enough to say, "I know this is my world, but it doesn't mean I can't fight for her world. And if I don't fight, she won't have a world. If we don't fight, we won't not only not have an America, we won't have a world."
That's right.
If you look at what's going on right now, we've not had any inkling of World War III because America was such a superpower and we made people play nice. You can't go over there and rob that country
Colonel
just because you
Pam.
want to.
Colonel Pam made people play nice. Mikey. Mikey made people play nice. The rest of us were just rah-rahing. Yeah.
And so now the other countries, we were responsible for world peace because we could get people to the
Yeah.
table. They trusted us. We had integrity. Our word was our bond most of the time. And now people are like, okay, you made me mad 1,000 years ago, so I'm getting ready to come over there and spank that butt. And think we have little skirmishes, fights everywhere because we've not honored our creed.
Yeah. Well, let's end with your creed, which I will let you share, but it resonates and it's very you now that I've gotten the honor and privilege of getting to know you a little bit. Um, so I just want to close with how much how honored I am that we got to spend this time together. How honored I am by your ancestors and all of our ancestors bringing us to this moment, and how inspired I am to get out there and be somebody's Lucy.
Mm, thank you. And next time I come back, we'll have to talk about the campaign.
That sounds fantastic. That sounds fantastic. You're welcome, Kentuckians. This is Colonel Pam. So enjoy. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being with us.
It is my pleasure. We are all in this together. I don't understand how people think they can put a hole in the boat and their end won't sink. So
Together.
until we can right this vote, this this issue we're facing together, the people, we the people,
We the
have the
people.
power.
Yes, we do.
And we will always have the power if we operate together. So I am um, very happy to have served these United States of America. And in the military, every military person listening knows that they teach us every year duty, honor, country. And that's how we live for the promise of America.
Mm-hmm.
And since Kentucky is leading the rest of the states, I've asked people to join me in living duty, honor, Kentucky, because that is what's going to lead us out of what we're experiencing right now.
Mm-hmm.
The power of one together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Sounds like a plan. Thank you, Colonel Pam.
Oh,
We're honored.
I can say this. You want to join the power of one? PamelaStevenson.com. You want a newsletter? PamelaStevenson.com. Anything you want to know do with this one, this quilter, PamelaStevenson.com.
Yeah, do you
And
have
then if
some
you're in
quilting
Kentucky, go
patterns
to the
or
state fair. I just put in 5 quilts. Take a
when is the
picture with my
fair?
quilt.
What
It
oh
starts tomorrow
it starts
in
tomorrow.
Kentucky,
All right. In Louisville or
in Louisville.
okay. Sorry, I
Yes,
tried. I gave it my Louisville.
you gave it your best
I
shot.
give it, look, I'm not a Kentuckian, but I am jealous of you Kentuckians because you get to vote for this one. So,
Yeah. I just say, whatever you do, after you do all the stuff I asked you to do, go to my website and do all those things.
yes, when we'll make sure to
Find
post
the
it too.
joy.
That's right.
Find the joy.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. If you enjoyed what you heard, please subscribe and leave us a review. It really helps other listeners discover the show. You can find People in Common on all major podcast platforms, and we'd love to hear from you on social media. Until next time, take care.